started on our second project, making a chatbot. If you're welcoming back yourself, make sure you are signed in on the top right corner of the screen and that you see your username. Then we can click on the word create in the corner and let's get started on our new project, which is making a. So in today's program, you're going to learn how to program a character that can talk to you. A character like this is called a chat robot or a chatbot. And in order to create an interesting chatbot, we want to make our chatbot interact with the user. We are the user. So first, let's think of 3 questions we may ask somebody about yourself. Then we will ask our chatbot to answer those questions to our users. Some examples of questions could be, what's your name? What's your favorite color? Or what's your favorite candy? So we can begin by setting up our background and sprite. We'll learn a couple things today, such as how to concatenate, put together 2 strings, grabbing a user's input, printing out a user's input, using variables to store user's input, and using conditional selection for responses. So, in order to get started, let's go ahead and choose our sprite and background. So, it's time to add the main character and setting to our game, more or less. If you remember from last week or last project, if not, let's do the following. In order to add a sprite or character, we need to click on the blue button with the white cat face inside of it. And in order to choose a background or setting, we need to click on the blue button with the white painting inside of it. So go ahead and choose your sprites, and we can go ahead and delete the cat sprite. And let's choose our sprite and background together. So you can go ahead and navigate to the bottom left corner of the screen, which is down there. Trying to adjust myself, that way we can see the flag. And let's choose a sprite together with the white cat face. You can choose anybody you would like to talk to. It could be a person or an animal. I'm going to choose the shark. And navigate to the bottom right again with the white painting to choose a background. Try to make your character and background match. Think of a theme for your game. And once you have your sprite and background, we can begin coding our program. So now we're going to code the chatbot. So click on your chatbot sprite at the bottom right to add the following code. Here's a hint. Feel free to pause the video to try it yourself. When the sprite is clicked, it will ask, what's your name? And wait for a response from the user. Then it will say, what a lovely name. Feel free to try it out by going into the categories. Let's add the following code. So we're going to add the following code to your sprite. When the sprite is clicked, we're going to ask and wait and say 4 seconds. Let's see. Let's trigger our program by going into events and using when this sprite is clicked. Next, we are going to ask, what's your name? And wait. Let's go into sensing since we are sensing a question. And we're going to use the question inside the block as an example. Then it will say, what a lovely name. Let's make the sprite say something. So let's go into the looks categories for we can see it say something. We can edit the following bubble by double clicking inside and deleting what's inside the bubble. And let's type in the sentence, what a lovely name. What a lovely name. So again, click on your chatbot to test your code. When the chatbot asks for your name, type it in the box that appears in the bottom of the stage. Then click on the blue mark and press the enter key. So let's try it out together. I'm going to click on the sprite and it's going to ask, what's your name? Let's type in the chat box our name. I'm going to type out my name, Miss Ashley. Once you click on enter or the check mark, it will respond, what a lovely name. Now that was pretty quick. If you couldn't read the text in time, let's go ahead and add in more seconds for us to read it. Perhaps maybe 3 seconds is better. And let's click on our sprite. What's your name? Miss Ashley. What a lovely name. Now that was perfect. Now let's add some more personality to our sprite. So we mentioned giving our sprite more personality. And that is because let's say our users wanted to be silly. Let's say our name is Pizza. It's still going to say, what a lovely name. So instead, we're going to make our sprite respond with our name instead. So let's go ahead and add in more personality by making it reply with the user's name. So let's add in a hint for us. We'll be changing the say what's a lovely name for 2 seconds text into say join hi answer for 2 seconds. You should only be changing one code block here. So make sure the following change is to the very last code block. So right here is the code we have, and we're going to change it by adding a join operator and concatenating the word hi and answer. Let's try that together. So let's erase what's inside the bubble. And we're going to head over to the green section, operators. And we're going to look for the code block that says join, because we're going to join 2 things together. We're going to delete what's inside. And let's type in the word hi. And in the second bubble, we're going to go back to our sensing category and add in an answer block. Go ahead and click on your sprite. What's your name? Feel free to type in your name again. Miss Ashley. It said our name, hi Miss Ashley, but we have a following glitch. Can you think of an answer to our glitch? Find out in our next video for the answer. After noticing our glitch, you notice that we may need a space after the word hi. That way it's included in our concatenation. So test it out again. Miss Ashley. Hi, Miss Ashley. And feel free to test out other names and make sure it works perfect. Maybe I'll try my pet's name. Sandy. Oops. Hi, Sandy. Or try out your siblings, your parents' name. My brother's name. So that was a quick fix to our glitch. Let's move on to making some variables. So it is time to learn a new concept. We'll be making and creating a variable for the username. This variable can be used to keep track of the name that is typed in our chatbot. So head over to the variables section and click on Make a Variable. let's scroll over to the variable category and let's click on make a variable on the top. So now we can name our new variable name. So we're going to name our new variable name to store the name of the user. So then you will need to add one code block so we can set our username to the answer and change our existing code block. Your code should work as before. Your chatbot should say hi using your name typed in. So your response shouldn't change, but we are going to change up the code blocks. That way the sprite can remember your name. So let's name our new variable name. That way we can set our new variable name, and we're going to set it on top of the say block. That way we can remember the user's name when we are waiting for a response. So let's set the name to the answer we give. Then we can say hi plus the name variable. So hi plus the name given. And feel free to test out your sprite again. Instead, we're going to have a variable block in our stage shown that's going to show our name. Let's test it. Miss Ashley. Hi, Miss Ashley. And you'll notice that it was saved to the variable block. Test it out with other names again, such as Sandy, or perhaps your sibling's name, Tommy. And you'll notice that the variable changes every time we set the new one. So let's go ahead and try your own now. It's your turn. Program your chatbot to ask another question. It can be whatever question you like, but please keep it appropriate. Here are some example questions you can use. What's your favorite color? What's your favorite candy? Try to come up with your own questions, but if you can't, use one of the examples above. Can you store the answer to this new question in a new variable? So we're going to use the same format and continue our code. Let's go ahead and go to the sensing category and let's ask a new question. Let's use one of the examples. What's your favorite color? So let's type in the bubble to ask, what's your favorite color? And we're going to store this new information of the color in a new variable. Let's make a new variable for this answer. So the question is, what's your favorite color? Let's use the main subject to name the variable. So the subject is favorite color. Let's type in color. So now we have a new variable named color. Let's set our new variable color to the answer we give. Let's go back to sensing and use an answer block. And now let's say a response for our chatbot to give us. Let's say something for 2 seconds. Let's make something relevant to our topic. Perhaps we'll need our join variable again. That way we can use the subject in our sentence. Let's use our operator, join, to concatenate 2 things again. And let's use the variable block, color. That way we can make a sentence like, color is my favorite color too. And let's remember, since we're joining two sentences, let's make sure there's a space between them, and let's continue it. Color is my favorite color too. And let's try it out. It's going to go in order all the way from the top of the code block. So what's your name? Miss Ashley. Hi, Miss Ashley. Then it's going to ask the next question in your code sequence. What's your favorite color? And feel free to try out multiple options to try out different results. So my favorite color is yellow. And then the chatbot responds, yellow is my favorite color too. And again, use tips and tricks from our last clip, such as extending the seconds. Maybe you need more time to read it. So let's go ahead and test it out again. What's your name? Miss Ashley. Hi, Miss Ashley. And let me try a different color, like blue. Blue is my favorite color too. Awesome, awesome. Let's work on conditional selection now. Let's talk about conditional selections. We can program our chatbot to decide to do based on the answers it receives. In order to do this, we need to ask our user a question that can be answered with a yes or a no. In our case, we'll be asking our user if they are okay. Go ahead and add the following code to your program and just add it to the bottom of your entire code. So we're going to add on to ask and concatenate a sentence called "Are you okay?" plus the name variable. Now we'll click to check what answer our chatbot receives. Like we mentioned, we are expecting a yes or no answer, so we'll be using a conditional if statement in order for our chatbot to make a decision on what we should say. So first, let's set up the question, and then we'll set up the if statement. So let's add on to our code by adding a new asking a question and waiting for a response. And we are going to ask, are you okay? Are you okay? We'll add a question mark. And let's add in an if statement in order for our chatbot to make a decision on what we should say. So we're going to use an if statement in controls and attach it to the bottom. Then we're going to make our response equal, so the answer equal to yes first. So let's add in an operator. That way the answer can equal yes. And this if statement will only work if the answer, so the answer block, so the answer we receive is yes. And then we can say what we want if we reply yes. So let's say, that's great to hear if we reply yes. That's great to hear. And test it out by clicking your sprite. What's your name? Same thing as always. It's going to start from the top and work its way to the bottom. Then ask your color. Yellow's my favorite color too. And then it's going to ask the next question we're testing. Are you okay? We only have yes as a response. So let's do yes as our first conditional statement and see if it works. That's great to hear. Awesome. Let's continue this conditional statement by adding a no block now into our if statement. Let's continue our conditional selection. So let's go ahead and change your code box code so that it says, I am so sorry to hear that, if it receives no as an answer. So we're going to add in a new if statement to check if the answer that your chatbot receives is no. So let's add a new if statement. Let's go ahead and make more room in our script by clicking on the minus magnifying glass. And let's add in a new if statement from controls. That way our new answer can equal no. So let's run over to the operator section and let's grab an equals. That way the answer now to our question, let's grab an answer block. So the answer to this can now equal no. So if answer equals no, our new response is to say, I am so sorry to hear that. So let's make a new category for looks and let's say something else. Let's say, I am so sorry to hear that. I am so sorry to hear that. And test out your new conditional selection. What's your name? Miss Ashley. And it's going to go in order all over again. My favorite color is yellow. Yellow's my favorite color too. Are you okay? Now let's test out the word no. Make sure to write it the same way you spelt it in your script. I am so sorry to hear that. So depending what you type in your conditional selection, whether it's yes or no, will depend on your response. So you should test out your code. You should get a different response when you answer no, and you get a completely different response when you answer yes, like we mentioned. Your chatbot should reply with, that's great to hear, when you answer yes. Then it should reply with, I am so sorry to hear that, when your answer is no. If you receive any other answer other than yes or no for your question, so if you type in anything else, it will not say anything. And you can test it out too yourself. So make sure your responses matches up to your script. Before we get started in our challenge, first off, congratulations making it this far into our chatbot program. Here's a fun challenge that you can try out while you try out some awesome coding skills. Do your best to implement the following. If your sprite is talking, add a costume that makes it look like they are talking. You can either make them open their mouth or make them move in some way. If your sprite is not talking, add a separate costume that makes it look like they are just standing there. Such as an example, not talking, and with its mouth open, perhaps it is talking. An example of this can be that, let's add in a new trigger to our program. That way, when this sprite is clicked, it will ask the question and it will start to also show costumes of it talking. Let's go into our costume category to see what we have. We have 3 costumes, it seems. Feel free to delete any costumes you may not need, perhaps the sad one. And I can switch between these 2 costumes. So back to the coding category. That way, when this sprite is clicked, let me zoom into that portion. When the sprite is clicked, I can make this sprite forever switch between the costumes, just like the rock band between it was shaking back and forth. Let's use a control to use a forever block. And we want it to switch between the 2 costumes. Let's use a looks category. That way we can switch the costumes. Let's use a next costume block and add in a wait block. That way there is a pause between the 2 codes. Let's see. If we click on our sprite, you will notice that now it seems that it is talking. If you want the mouth to go faster, you can lessen the seconds to maybe 0.5. And that is a way to make your character talk. If you wanted to shake back and forth, you can perhaps use the same code blocks from the Rock Band to turn left and right. Again, this is your program, so feel free to add in as much details and code blocks as you want. Again, if you have any questions about this project, feel free to reach out to us at AI Code Academy. See you for the next project!